Let's go Broncos! In just a few days, this team could secure something it hasn't achieved in years, a bye in the first round and home court advantage throughout the playoffs. But it's not just about winning another game. Behind the scenes, there are secret injury recoveries, crucial decisions by Sean Payton, and a potential playoff storm brewing that no one is talking about until now. The final game of the regular season isn't just another Sunday at Mile High Stadium. It's a matchup with enormous implications, and the Los Angeles Chargers are falling right into our trap. With Justin Herbert, Trey Lance at quarterback, a fragile offensive line. You'd think it's a guaranteed win, right? But hold on, because there are some twists and turns that could change everything. Before we reveal all the details, if you're a true Broncos fan who's followed the team through the glory days and the disappointments, click the like button right now. And if you believe we can reach the Super Bowl, comment below. Go Broncos! We were born to shine. Let's go. Let's get straight into it, because things are heating up in the final stretch of the regular season. The Denver Broncos are on the verge of something big. One game remains in the regular season, a home matchup against the Los Angeles Chargers, who will be resting Justin Herbert. That's right, Trey Lance will be getting the start for LA. This game doesn't mean much for the Chargers. They've already clinched a playoff spot and can't win the AFC West, so it's full rest mode for them. But for the Broncos, it means everything. A win locks up the number 1 overall seed in the AFC. That's the golden ticket to a first-round bye and home field advantage throughout the playoffs. Now, there's some very important what-if scenarios we need to break down. If the Broncos win on Sunday, they secure that number 1 seed, simple as that. But if the Broncos lose, things get messy. If Denver loses, New England wins, and Jacksonville loses, the Broncos fall to the number 2 seed and would face the Buffalo Bills in the wild card round. If both the Broncos and Patriots lose and Jacksonville wins, Denver still ends up with the 2 seed. But if Denver loses, the Patriots win, and the Jaguars also win, Denver drops all the way to the number 3 seed and would face the Chargers again in the first round of the playoffs. The message is clear. This game is a must-win. The good news? The Broncos will be wearing their throwback uniforms this Sunday. Call it superstition or just good vibes, but history has shown those threads bring out the best in this team. The prediction floating around from those close to the team is a confident 24-16 win for Denver, with the Chargers putting up a late touchdown to make it closer than it really was. Coach Payton isn't expected to be conservative like he was against the Chiefs. He's going to open up the playbook and go all out. All 3 phases of the team are expected to show up ready to dominate. Injury updates are also worth highlighting, and for once, there's actual optimism. Running back J.K. Dobbins, who underwent foot surgery, is reportedly targeting a potential Super Bowl return. While that's still just a possibility, not a guarantee, sources indicate that if the Broncos make it that far, Dobbins will do everything in his power to suit up. But the most immediate return could be center Luke Wattenberg, who is tracking to come back as early as the AFC Championship game. That would be a massive boost for the offensive line. Wattenberg is simply a better center than Alex Forsyth, and getting him back would give the offense more consistency and push in the run game. There's more on the injury front. Pat Bryant remains in concussion protocol, and it's unclear when he'll be cleared. But the team is hopeful. Other key players being watched closely include Dre Greenlaw, who pulled up with a hamstring injury against Jacksonville. If you ask fans and analysts who the most important player to return would be, the answer is almost unanimous: Dre Greenlaw. He's the leader in the middle, wearing the green, orchestrating the defense. His presence is vital to the Broncos' playoff success. And then there's Adam Troutman, a tremendous blocking tight end who returned from an illness recently. Troutman's health is a quiet storyline, but one that could have a big impact in the postseason. Now, what about that defense? Sean Payton has reportedly been putting pressure on his defensive unit, but it's not something that's dividing the locker room. These guys know what's at stake. This is a brotherhood, and they've owned up to not playing to their standard. Nick Bonitto even said it himself: "We're not playing up to our standard." That's coming from the guy who, alongside Patrick Surtain too, is one of the true leaders of the defense. Coach Payton made it clear in a team meeting, turnover margin is critical. He stressed that no team in the last 25 years has won a Super Bowl with a negative turnover margin except the Rams. The defense knows it has to step up, force takeaways, and play clean football if they want to go the distance. If Denver ends up in a situation where they're up big in the fourth quarter against the Chargers, say, by 3 touchdowns or more, expect Payton to rest the starters. This could mean seeing Tyler Batty take the field as the lead back late in the game. It would be the smart move to protect key players heading into the playoffs, assuming the game is comfortably in hand. And lastly, the question every fan is thinking about: who do you want to face in the playoffs? If the Broncos clinch the 1 seed, they'll get that precious bye and some time to prepare. If not, and they slide into the wild card, fans would probably prefer a matchup with the Bills or Chargers rather than the red-hot Houston Texans. Denver can go toe-to-toe with anyone, but Houston is peaking at the right time, and that makes them a scary opponent. If we're going to talk about gearing up for a playoff run, then we need to dig into what's really happening behind the curtain at Dove Valley. There's an unmistakable shift happening, not just in the locker room, but in the mindset of this entire organization. Sean Payton isn't just trying to make the playoffs. He's trying to build a team that believes it belongs on the NFL's biggest stage. And to do that, he's relying on more than just game plans and play calls. He's attacking the culture. One of the things that's become clear is how seriously Payton is taking the turnover battle. In a recent team meeting, he emphasized that the Rams are the only team in the last 25 years to win a Super Bowl with a negative turnover margin. That's not a stat, asterisk, that's a message star. And it's not just being heard by coaches. Players like Nick Bonito are echoing it. When your top defenders start owning the lack of performance and calling for a higher standard, you know the team is maturing. They're not waiting for a savior or blaming circumstances. They're taking responsibility. And in the playoffs, that mindset separates the contenders from the pretenders. Now let's look at how Sean Payton might approach the game from a personnel angle if the Broncos find themselves in a strong position on Sunday. We talked about the 3-touchdown margin being the likely threshold for pulling starters. That scenario would likely open the door for players like Tyler Batty to take on a featured role late in the game. That's not just about rest, it's about evaluation. Payton and his staff want to see who's ready to step up if called upon in January. Every snap matters when you're building a championship roster. The same applies to the tight end situation. We heard fans throwing around names like Isaiah Likely and Kyle Pitts when discussing offseason additions, but right now, all eyes are on Adam Troutman. He's back from his illness and known for his blocking prowess, which is crucial for an offense that leans on physicality and balance. With the postseason looming, the Broncos aren't just evaluating stars, they're looking at role players who can make the difference in those third and short playoff moments. And let's not forget the offensive line, where Luke Wattenberg's potential return could be a true game changer. Alex Forsyth has held things together admirably, but Wattenberg brings a level of stability and command that elevates the entire unit. If he returns in time for the AFC Championship, that could be the reinforcement that solidifies this team's identity in the trenches. And if J.K. Dobbins manages to return for a potential Super Bowl appearance, you're talking about a running back who can control the clock, grind out tough yards, and take pressure off the quarterback. That's how you close out playoff games. Speaking of identity, let's go back to those throwback uniforms. Some fans might brush it off as a cosmetic gimmick, but don't underestimate the psychological edge. When players feel connected to the legacy of the team, the history, the greatness, it adds a layer of pride. The throwbacks are a statement. This team is rooted in tradition, but it's writing a new chapter. And what better way to do that than by storming through the playoffs in vintage threads? Now, let's talk matchups. The general feeling around the team is that the Chargers and Bills present manageable challenges, especially with their current inconsistencies. The Chargers' offensive line is depleted, and without Justin Herbert, they're nowhere near the same team. The Bills, despite having Josh Allen, have a defense that's struggled all season. But the Texans? That's a different story. They're young, fast, and playing with nothing to lose. They've been the most dangerous team down the stretch and would be a true test of Denver's grit and discipline. If the Broncos want to be taken seriously as Super Bowl contenders, they'll need to prove they can beat a team like Houston. But again, that's only a worry if Denver doesn't lock up the #1 seed. That first-round bye is a massive strategic advantage. It gives players like Greenlaw and Wattenberg time to heal. It gives Sean Payton an extra week to prepare. And it gives the Broncos a chance to watch potential opponents expose their weaknesses before ever taking the field. And make no mistake, Payton will be watching. He's already shown that he's not afraid to adjust game plans on the fly, even if it means dialing back the aggression like he did against Kansas City. But don't expect that again this week. The Chargers may be downplaying the importance of this matchup, but Payton knows what's on the line. He's going to bring the heat in all three phases: offense, defense, and special teams. Expect blitzes. Expect big plays. Expect a message to be sent. So Broncos country, here we are. One game away from a bye, home field advantage, and a wide open path to the Super Bowl. This team has fought, adapted, and grown over the course of the season. Now it's time to cash in on all that work. The stars are aligning. The health reports are trending in the right direction. The matchups are favorable, and the head coach is laser focused. Hit that like button if you believe in this team. Subscribe if you want more updates like this leading into the playoffs. And keep an eye out. We've got another video popping up on screen right now that breaks down the full playoff picture and what each